listen, I know there have been things that we didn't see coming, right? So the whole story in was it Yahoo last week talking about Uncle T paying Connor Stallions to do X, Y, Z,
Who
right?
Uncle T? Who's Uncle T? What?
Well, the story said it's a Michigan donor. The story said it's a Michigan donor. What I can tell you is I don't know if that's true, but I can tell you that there was concern. There was absolutely concern about it, and concern that helped color the decision that look, let's just let's keep it moving. Let's accept the punishment, keep it moving, right? So, but in the atmosphere where that kind of stuff is leaking before Michigan can comment or even knows about it, is it possible that someone at the NCAA or the Big Ten could be telling Urban Meyer some things before Michigan gets wind? It's possible. But given the fact that the investigation is ongoing, we just saw Chris Partridge get fired last week. That being the case, I find it hard to believe that they wouldn't even have an inkling of some.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying he got fired because they're guilty. No, he got fired because he broke rules of being transparent with the NCAA. Right, that's the reason he got fired. Right, and so I agree with that. Right, because Harbaugh has been transparent for all we know. Right, I think he's been transparent. Everybody on the staff. And so when you obstruct justice, essentially, I don't want to get too deep like it's actually a crime being committed.
Let's be clear, because there are reports out there, and I can't back up, vouch for what anybody else is saying about the evidence. Look, what I know is NCAA is interviewing Michigan players, and one of the players. So the way the story goes, they're talking about things internally. One of the players says something about some involvement with Connor Stallions, something that they heard or either they were directly involved. I don't know what. And as I was told, he was like, "Hey, don't say that. Don't say that. You don't want to say that. You don't want to repeat that to nobody else. Don't repeat it to anybody around here. Don't repeat it to the investigator." One of the kids went and told the investigator
that he said
that, and he got fired.
Somebody must have been on somebody's butt in practice all year.
That sound like a disgruntled player to me. Hey, Daniel, you knew it right away. He been on somebody's butt.
Hey, he been on somebody's
butt.
Get you. Hey, somebody getting enough depth on their drops or something because he been on them.
I thought the same thing. But beside the point, look, it's called attempted to impede an investigation.
Obstruction of justice.
Yeah, that gets you fired. And so,
of course.
So, but my point, you got that investigation going on, and nobody in Michigan, if there's something more damaging on the horizon than the concern over this whole Uncle
People
T,
in Michigan don't know about it.
They don't even know, right? And you would think this would be a time where they would have some clue of some impending doom on the horizon. So, I mean, clearly they don't know what they don't know, but what they do know is if whatever Urban Meyer is talking about, all this stuff I'm hearing, if it's true, it's like, come on, man. One source was like, man, he's full of the blue. He's full of it, right?
You remember that scene in Friday? We said, "What happened to the last security guards?"
What happened? Man, you don't even know what happened to the last security guard.
Yeah, I don't know. How you know? That's the same thing. Like if the people in Michigan, how does Urban Meyer know? Unless somebody at Ohio State is feeding them garbage, right? So that's another one, Sam. Consider the source.
Yeah, well, listen, they have been these entities, whether it be the Big Ten or the NCAA, they have been leaking things to the media, like Harbaugh's suspension. That leaked to the media before it even got to Michigan. So I'm not discounting the possibility that someone could be telling him something from one of those entities. But right now, given like the investigation is ongoing, we already see them reacting in real time to intel that they're hearing. For them to have no clue about anything coming down the pipe, I find that hard to believe. And as we get deeper, so how about this, fellas? You remember, I got to give y'all credit. I gotta give y'all credit. I didn't even talk about this in the pre-show. You remember we were talking about Central Michigan Stallions being on the sideline, and we were like, that kind of looks like him, right? We never shied away from that. And y'all were like, man, how he know what they were gonna be wearing in the season opener? It's not even like week 2 or week 3. This is the first game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
He's got it. He's Central Michigan down to the socks, right? You can play the Biggie song in the background, all the way down to the socks, man. Like, come on. How does he have that kind of intel to just show up and sneak on the sideline? Nah, man. I had been hearing, and a coaching contact had told me.
Oh, so it was him.
What?
It was him on the sideline, right?
It was him on the sideline.
Dang, my theory of the little mold thing was wrong.
It was him on the sideline. But a coaching contact, he had a contact up there, and so I've since seen evidence to the effect of, he was kind of helping them with Michigan State intel going back to the spring.
Yeah,
going back to April, was helping them with scouting stuff in the weeks leading up to the game. So the interaction about Michigan State was already established. Like, he was already providing intel, and then you add to it, the word that I'm getting was that, hey man, he was working for them that day. He wasn't working for Michigan that day.
Is any of that illegal?
Michigan that day.
Is he allowed to work for them?
See, I don't. So here's the thing. I have never heard of anybody doing this.
Right.
It's espionage.
I don't even know if there's a rule for this. Like, it's so out there. It's so out there that it's like, man, really? So he's not an actual coach. He's essentially like a contractor. So, who's to say you can't be a contractor for two different styles? I don't know. We got a question out there right now. Is it a violation if you're working for two staffs?
Yeah.
But even if it is a violation, it shoots down the narrative that, he was on the sideline stealing signs for Michigan. He was on the sideline
helping with the signs for Central Michigan.
Yes.
You know what the next quote
is? That's a good piece of info.